Hi, Greg. How you doing?
Hi, yeah, doing good.
Yeah, yeah,
Are
doing
you?
good. We're actually we just have to do it all over again.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be discussing UFC 308. We had like five fights on the main card. We're just gonna be doing the post-fight analysis, breaking down what actually happened throughout the fights. And we can start with the first fight on the card, which was Shara Bullet versus Petrosian.
Didn't
And
watch it.
yeah, I mean to be honest, I was watching in Box Park, and they had some sort of problems with the internet. They couldn't connect it properly. So we
Yeah.
were just sitting over there and we're just watching on the phone. And yeah, it was just a knockout that I watched, to be honest, just like the last few
I
things.
didn't get there in time. I saw the knockout on the TV. I thought that was pretty cool.
It was
Double
cool,
knockout.
man. It was
What
so
was
cool, to be honest. The first one, he kind of blocked it. It landed a little bit. It partially blocked it, but the second one landed clean. Just
nonetheless, yeah,
done.
crazy move. I wish I'd been there for that fight because apparently he was pretty impressive. But at the same time, I don't know. I feel like he's getting fed pretty like pretty easygoing matchups, at least for his style, just to kind of you know almost give him time to build and eventually like contend. But I don't think he's good enough for that because I don't know. I'm seeing his grappling particularly,
Yeah. No, he does
but
struggle, actually. Yeah.
striking's crazy.
His striking is crazy. And that's what I was thinking. We need to have like good matchups for him. A matchup against Israel Adesanya, I think that was a good call out. I think that would be an interesting fight because Izzy's not going to try to grapple with him.
Mm.
So that would be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's really fought anyone good enough to like go straight to that. I think he's got to get like at least a couple of top 10 guys.
I mean, that is kind of true. Yeah. If you're looking for Shara, obviously he's going to call Izzy out. But for Izzy, it doesn't make much sense because he just fought for
Makes
the
no
title. And then
sense. What was
makes no sense. Yeah.
was it Ospina or something like that? What was his his ranking like 13th, maybe
I don't know.
14th?
He's definitely
He
not
wasn't
in the
top
top 10.
10. Yeah, he
He's
wasn't
definitely
top
not in
10.
the top 10. Yeah. And he
So
struggles. Yeah. I hope they don't put him against a wrestler because they don't want to waste him. Maybe let him fight for like 2, 3 more years so he can develop his grappling a little bit. Jiu-jitsu, like defensive jiu-jitsu. And then put
yeah,
him against a guy who can actually wrestle.
don't know. That's a long time to wait though, especially if it's like a you're trying to maintain a hype train. You don't want it to take that long. I feel like you want him to get another couple fights and then be fighting in the top five, and he could probably do that.
Yeah.
He's probably good for like 3 fights in a year, 2, 3 fights in a year, if he really wanted
Something like
to.
this. I just think he's in a very difficult weight division right now with the wrestlers. Like Hamza Shamaev, especially, was fighting on the same card, 185. You're not gonna beat that guy. You're gonna get destroyed,
He's
definitely.
not beating Drickus either. He's not beating
He's
the top,
oh,
arguably
definitely
top
not.
two guys in the division right now.
Yeah, not the top guys. Definitely not.
No. Or Vittori even. I think Vittori would beat him.
You think Victoria
That
be?
maybe would be an interesting one if you really want to like put him up against it. Because I think Vittori's a bit of a gatekeeper.
He's kind of for like a while. He has been the gatekeeper. Like there was a
But
time he fought
he's a
Israel
hard
Adesanya
guy
for this.
to beat. Yeah, him and Paulo Costa.
Yeah, he's got like one of the best pound for pound chins. He's known for that. Doesn't
Yeah,
get knocked out.
but yeah, kind of at the same time, neither of us watched this fight, so there's probably not really much to comment on.
No,
So,
exactly though. Okay, so the next fight it was Larry Murphy. He is British. He was fighting Danny
Danny
Gay.
Ige. Uh, I really wanted Danny Ige to win, and it's one of the two that I went with my heart on, and not my fucking mind. So yeah, he did well, but Laurent Murphy was Laurent
How
Murphy.
did you score the fight though? Did you actually think Danny Gay lost?
What that Danny Ige lost?
Yeah, like if you were scoring the fight yourself, let's say you were judging the fight, how
Yeah,
would you score? Do you think it was the right
I
call at the
think
end?
Danny Ige did lose because I think he kind of like started losing steam towards the end of the fight, um, which is like a main thing. But like throughout like round one and two, I thought it was like I could go with either of them, and I think it was the third one that like changed my mind from memory anyway.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I would say first round, Danny Gay dropped him. It was the first round, right? When he dropped him. I think
Can't
probably that one.
remember. So it was pretty
I think
steaming.
it was pretty, yeah. It was kind of pretty even. But Danny Gay was more like he's got heavy hands, so obviously he was catching him. And then Little Murphy, he probably had better kicks. He was more like a complete striker, I would say. But
Yeah.
then Dan wrestled him as well, controlled him on the ground. So I was thinking maybe they could give the fight to Danny Gay, but I think also based on like the record, Danny Gay has got a couple of losses on his record. Little Murphy's
Mm.
like undefeated, so they probably want to keep
I
that
just
as
feel like
well.
he didn't look as good at the end. And that's always going to play like a pretty big part in if it's been a close fight and then someone like, you know, seemingly is winning at the end of the fight. It's the last people that recency bias, isn't it? It's the last thing that people remember.
Yeah, that is true. That is
If you
true.
remember
Yeah,
it's close, but oh, this person looked good at the end. I think if you thought it was close, you'd probably go with that person.
that is. Yeah, I mean, I can give an example of what's his name. John Jones was fighting Alexander Gustafsson. I think he clearly lost the first two rounds. Third round was pretty close as well, but he won the fourth and the fifth round, and
Yeah.
those were the ones that put impression on the judges.
Plus, also, it's just massively political, isn't it? Because you want the big names to win the big fights.
Or
So
definitely, Dana would definitely want him to do that.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The next one, which I didn't like at all. I don't know.
What
You might have
Ankara
liked the fight.
versus
Magomed
I
and Kalai versus
wasn't
Rakic.
really paying attention, and we had someone stood in the way of the screen for like a good
Okay.
portion, and then we like told them to move, and then like someone else got in the way, and then we just moved the seats around, and then eventually watched a bit of it, but it was just so like dull, you know, like not there was nothing really impressive. Like fair enough, decent fight, but like nothing of interest for me anyway. Like it wasn't anything going on that made me think, oh shit, like I need to stop like
Yeah.
chatting
It
to
was
my stop drinking. You know,
definitely nothing. I was ordering my food during the fight. My mates that I was watching the fight, they were going to the toilet. They were like, "It's a toilet break fight."
toilet break. Yeah, to be fair, I could agree with that one. It's
Yeah.
not, yeah, especially when you consider like the fight after that and
Oh
after that,
yeah,
get that
definitely.
toilet break in ASAP.
Yeah, I mean, the fight disappointed. To be honest, I think what Magomed Ankalaev was trying to do, he was trying to prove a point because he told Alex Pereira that I'm a better striker than you, and I'm gonna stand with you. I'm gonna knock you out. So
Yeah,
I
that
think
that
the whole
Ankalaev not beating Pereira.
bro, if he's not shooting for the takedowns, there's no way he's beating him.
No, even then, like I think that like the counter wrestling that Alex is going to have now, after being around for so long and the caliber of people he's fought against, he's always got to be prepared for what if people try and
Yeah,
take like his main skill set. And so he's had enough time, even in the gym, to learn enough to put up with Ankalaev's wrestling. I feel like he'll be able to
yeah,
get up and then on the feet he'll dictate exactly what needs to be done, and he'll like he'll calf kick him. He'll do like maybe like who knows like a little oblique stomp or
oh
try
yeah,
question mark kick again.
we
Like
never know. Yeah,
or his jab even like his like when you think about just how good he is on the feet. Um, I think there's just not really much of a chance for Ankalaev. Like fair enough, it's like what needs to happen. 20-1. Even though the last fight wasn't super impressive, I think we all know what's going to happen, but like he kind of deserves it. And then after that, we can start looking at like more interesting people.
exactly. Yeah, no, that's true. And especially when we know that Ankalaev had problems with the leg kicks when he was fighting Blachowicz. His legs were
Yeah.
getting chopped. He wasn't able to walk after
Oh,
the fight. So
Alex will destroy him. Maybe
Alex
Alex
would
goes up to
destroy.
heavyweight for this.
Yeah. One thing I don't understand is I don't know why people don't try to shoot on Alex Pereira. Like we know his grappling is getting better. He's training with Glover Teixeira, but no one
Yeah.
even tries. Like Khalid Roundtree didn't try at all. Jamal Hill before that didn't try at all. And now Magomed and Kalaev is saying the same thing. He's like, I'm just gonna stand up with the guy.
You could say the same thing with like Izzy. Like, there's obviously a reason to if someone's just that dangerous on their feet, like it disincentivizes you. You're going to be second guessing everything, and you can't really act when you're second guessing what is the strategy that you want to execute. If
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I want to go for a takedown, but this person might need me in the face and it's all over, or they might catch me with like their hands with an uppercut. Like if you go in for like a shot and you're against this really rangy fighter who more than likely has got a bigger reach than you and is bigger than you, like in all the fights, he's always like the biggest dude, isn't he?
Yes, he's
And
so
so the
big.
distance he can create and his distance management, if you shoot him for a takedown, he just catch you, like you're probably finished. See what happens to Sean Strickland. You see what happens to like literally everyone he's going against, aside from Jan Blachowicz. Recently,
Yeah,
that I can remember anyway, like he's just been finishing everyone, like usually in the second round, usually with the left hook.
I mean, ironically, Israel Adesanya was the only one who actually shot the takedowns on Alex Pereira. Can you believe that? Out of
Yeah.
everyone that he fought, that's crazy.
Did Jan Blachowicz not shoot a takedown on him?
Oh no, he did as well. He did as
He
well.
was wrestling
Yeah,
him. Yeah,
he was wrestling him. He was wrestling him. Yeah, actually, only two of them.
yeah, that was that'd be good though. Just go on a tangent about Alex there. Even
Yeah.
though he didn't fight, but also like I guess not to not to jump to it at all, but definitely Tapori is giving me like shades of Pereira now with
Well, with the
like
boxing.
with the people that he's finishing.
Oh yes, yes, he's
With his
finishing legends
boxing,
now.
yeah, with his hooks, like the way he just like throws his hips into it, like he's punching with his hips, not with his like back or his arm. Really, he's like, dude, it's a full movement, and it's the same as like how like Alex strikes in a lot of ways, and it's just adds that extra power to it, extra bit of
Yeah,
nasty.
I mean, there's something, yeah, something with his footwork as well. The way he's kind of bouncing, it just it's different.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think of the Hamzat Whitaker fight?
Oh yeah, Hamza versus Whitaker. Here's the thing: everybody that I was talking to in the gym or whether I had conversation somewhere else in the community, everybody was saying Hamza's gonna get tired after the third round, and he's
Mm.
never fought a guy who is used to going 4 or 5 rounds. And he's never fought a guy who's like a championship level material. Although he fought Kamaru Usman, but that was like a short notice fight. So they were saying Hamza would get tired, Whitaker will take over and then potentially finish him or just win on points. And I was just
Mm.
saying, I kept on saying that I think Hamza is going to finish him. You guys are going to be surprised of how good he is. And my argument was basically that okay, people say that Whitaker's fought wrestler, Rio Romero, high level Olympic wrestler, but Romero doesn't really use his wrestling inside the cage. And MMA wrestling is different. You have to fight against the cage as well, and then you need to have submissions. Rio Romero never has submissions. He
And
fought Jacare
also like
Souza.
the
Yep.
threat of being able to do other stuff beyond just wrestling. If you know someone's just going to grapple you, then you're not going to be afraid to do some stuff that perhaps you should be otherwise. If they've got really crisp like clinch fighting, you know, like if you're grappling someone but they've got incredible like knees, incredible hip flexibility, they might
Yeah.
be able to pull it up and just knock you out straight away.
Yeah.
So you're going to be more apprehensive, and that gives them a better like a better capacity or ability or like better options anyway when it comes to the grappling side of things because they've got that additional threat. And I think Hamzat has that. He said it himself, didn't he? Like he brings everything together better than like the people he's fought in the past. Yo Romero is an incredible wrestler, but like he's not as dynamic as Hamzat Chimaev in terms of like that grappling and also like the striking in line with the grappling. The threats that he can like bring into it are like superior in the sense that it's gonna make Robert Whitaker think more, and that's exactly what happened. You know, can
Yeah.
can they deal with his MMA wrestling?
Yeah, I think Whitaker was actually surprised when he got like the speed of the shot as well. And he shot from quite a distance. If you look at like in slow motion, he was pretty far,
Mm.
like 2, 3, I don't know, 3, 4 feet away. Just shot from there, got
But he
his
doesn't
legs.
stop, does he? That's the
Yeah,
big thing that like he doesn't just think, okay, well he's getting up now. I'm gonna like I guess look to like I don't know, strike and then disengage or like he's constantly like if he's attacked, he's gonna stay with it until something prevails or the person gets out of it. But he's just so religious with it.
yeah, exactly. It's the chain wrestling that comes with it. Like
Mm.
I've seen some of the other wrestlers, they would go for the takedown. The opponent defends the takedown, and after that, they're like, okay, I'll just let it go. I'll start striking now. But Hamzat, I saw Whitaker defended the first takedown. He took him down, but then after he had the back, I think Hamza made a little mistake, and Whitaker got up, and then Hamza
He was
straight
getting up
off
at the
that.
fence, wasn't he?
Yeah, yeah, straight after that, just shot for the takedown again, took him down.
Mm. Yeah, and then he was just they had a pretty good scramble. I remember at one point as well, and Hamzat just stuck with him. It was just like this is where he wants the fight to be. So
Yeah,
continued with that, and yeah, destroyed his jaw.
bro, that was amazing. Honestly,
Yeah, it was
that
pretty
was
crazy. Just well, I don't know what he did. It was like a dislocation or something. I thought it was just like what Khabib was doing to Conor McGregor. You know, like
yeah,
getting it over their jaw, put loads of pressure on it. Like, obviously, it's not going to feel good, especially if their mouth's open. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, like it looked pretty tough, and it finished him really quickly.
That was
Uh,
probably the fastest jab ever.
yeah, it was just it
Dude.
wasn't even. He must have just like went and then
Yeah, like
destroyed.
bum. Did
Yeah,
you
then
did you see the extra by the way of his
huh?
teeth? They went
I
backwards.
didn't
Did you
really
see the
know what was
extra?
going on in that picture.
I don't know. I actually watched a video of the doctor, and he was saying basically the three teeth that he had, like right in the front, they went kind of backwards.
Shit,
So like they're not even in the same line with those the rest of them.
damn.
That
See
is
that? Yeah, that's a
crazy.
hardcore move from
Yeah,
Hamza. So
the grip strength you
he
need for this.
he's got to fight Dricus du Plessis. I feel now.
He's gotta fight Dricus to pluses. I think it's gonna be a good one. Who do you pick in that fight?
I pick Hamza.
You pick Hamza?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, that would be a measure of Duplessis for sure. If he could beat Hamza, that's almost like. See, the thing is, it's not even the same in terms of um, the people as what's it called as Taporia in terms of being like knocking out Volkanovski like at his peak pretty much, and Max Holloway like knocking both of them out. I was gonna attribute a similar success to Hamzat. I know Duplessis, if he beats Hamzat and he's beating Izzy and he's beating Robert Whitaker, in terms of like the grade of people, I think Hamzat probably to obviously would need more like success stories against like big names for it to be the same. But having it been three really like class, potentially generational, like all of them at least anyway, fighters, it's pretty impressive if he beat Hamzat as well. Because then who beats Dricus du Plessis? Pereira got to go down, but is he actually going to do that?
Okay, again, yeah. I don't think that's a good move. He's already adjusted to 205, 185 at this age. I don't think it's the
Mm.
best move.
Roundtree's got to go down.
Roundtree can possibly go down, but Roundtree is gonna get taken down, I believe. I don't think his
Yeah,
defense is
true.
like
He's
super
got to
strong.
just work on, I guess, like anti-Western. He's a strong dude though as well.
He's very strong and he's pretty fast as well, like the way he blitz and
Imagine how
punches.
fast he'd be at 185. Or well, maybe not, maybe because I know 205 is just like a very natural weight for him. So
Yeah, I
potentially
don't know how much power is gonna. It might affect his
stay
chin
down
as
with
well, like
him.
the dehydration. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
What about the
yeah,
main
that's
fight then?
oh the main fight. Yes, Max Holloway, Ilya Topuria.
Hmm.
I was
Well,
I was heartbroken at the end.
I
That
think
was bad.
everybody was, except for like Spanish people. They're
Yeah.
yeah, they're in love with Taporia, aren't they?
Oh yeah, Topuria's got so many supporters now. To be honest, in Spain especially. That's why they
Yeah.
wanna. Dana was saying that he wants to have a UFC in Spain. I think that would be a big step.
Oh, yeah, massively. That will help with like South America, I guess, as well, and maybe other parts of the world, Spanish-speaking parts.
Yeah, exactly. And if they do it in a football stadium, you know how Spanish people love football and how they love
Mm.
sports. I think UFC is they're just gonna love UFC because they are kind of wild. They love like the bull sports and all of this crazy sort of shit. I
If
think
you,
MMA is good.
it's the atmosphere at that point, isn't it? Like, I think UFC's probably got a lot of connotations of, um, well, it's just like a brutish, like bloody, I guess maybe like even like hillbilly type of like cage fighting is what people just think of. Um, just brutish people. But at the same time, if you can get someone who's bringing the atmosphere of like, I guess like a football stadium to a combat sport that previously would have just been like in like a dingy basement with a bunch of people just fucking like throwing cash, like barking dogs all around like that. Because
I
I
can
think that's what a lot of
picture
people
that.
MMA. It's just like brutish. But boxing, you get it in like big stadiums, and so I think that'd do a big part of it because he's got a lot of style and influence over there as well. I think his wife owns a couple of companies.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the point that people think about MMA like it's some
Batman.
kind of like crazy shit. Yeah, that is very true. That's why I think it's banned in France. France cannot have like MMA events. They recently allowed it actually.
They can't have them.
I think until this year they couldn't have MMA events in France. It was banned. I think it was
Oh,
just this year when they allowed the France to actually hold any MMA events.
that's bizarre.
Yeah, yeah, because they think people actually think I've had conversation like some people as well. They just think that MMA is no technique. It's just kind of street fighting, just stupid people just fighting. There's nothing. They're trying to kill each other. So some people don't understand it.
That's stupid. But then again, I guess the perception of it is always going to be a hard thing to sell to the majority. Although when people realise how much money it brings in, like when I was at the pub in London Bridge, so pretty central, the big TV upstairs was not playing football. There was a couple of small TVs playing football, but was watching playing the UFC, which is a pretty big step. I think maybe it's because of like the big Spanish presence, at least that was there in the pub. But at the same time, like that's the Real Madrid Barcelona games on, and they've got the UFC on, so it's obviously growing somewhat in popularity if they've put that on
But it's
over.
big. Exactly. If you have a Real Madrid and a Barcelona game going on and you're putting UFC at the same time, that's a big step. Yeah. What did you think about the fight itself? Like technically, what did you think?
Thought it was really good. Thought what's the name? Taporia's boxing. The whole game was pretty polished. Obviously, went for the takedown, which is, I guess, not what I anticipated. I thought he was going to just try and trade with him for the whole fight. But yeah, he did a really good job. Obviously, he found his range, started landing some hellish combos on Max. Max looked good, but I just think Taporia was just obviously a whole other beast. Just such power in his hands, and as soon as he started dictating where the fight was going, and Max couldn't because Max had like a good scramble after the takedown attempt,
Yeah.
and he was looking good, but you could tell that there was a big difference in like actual ability to finish that fight. He got a couple good combinations on him, but all in all, I think Taporia was just controlling things, and then just obviously had some ridiculous power in his hands and
Yeah.
beating Max up.
I don't know how he gets that power to be honest, because we've seen Max at 155 against hard
Yeah,
hitters like Dustin Poirier couldn't finish
I mean,
him.
strong, but
Justin
also
Gaethje.
technique of the strikes is just really good. Obviously, I think I said it to you before. Maybe it was before we started recording, but just the way like he fires with his hips, like you can see that technically each punch is just like a really good like movement in itself. Not just he's not just I guess when you see people who are fighting MMA especially, their actual technique of striking isn't always perfect because it's a mixed style. Um, but his boxing in itself is really, really crisp. So I think he's just got really good technique, and so he can get a bit more power than most people. Especially when you see his like just his hooks, he's just absolutely like it
Oh
just
yeah.
like, turns his hip over,
Yeah.
um, and just
That
yeah,
is true.
power, and and they're quick as well. Like
Oh, he's speed, he's
he's
fast.
solid all round. I think he's just so disciplined that it's hard to top him. Really, it'd be good to see him go up and weigh and fight Islam.
I don't think it will be a good
Islam
fight because
Islam
the Poirier
beats
can actually
him.
grapple.
Islam
Yeah, I
beats him.
think Islam is too big.
But
Islam is a big lightweight.
remember what happened with Volk, and remember what happened with Islam and Volk, and
Yeah, I
Taporia
do.
finished Volk.
You think you
Yeah,
can crack him? You think there's a possibility
He can
crack
crack Islam. That's the
um,
thing. A heavier Topuria could crack Islam. I don't think he beat him. I think Islam's like grappling is just ridiculous. And
I
to be
think
honest,
Islam.
he could probably get him with a strike as well because he's just Islam himself is pound for pound. So
He's good.
yeah,
Yeah, his
but there's
boxing
a
has
lot more
improved a
people
lot,
in
and he
that
throws head
conversation
kicks.
now. Is the
Oh
big
yeah,
thing.
they're trying to put Topuria into the conversation now. Topuria is
I
probably
mean,
like after the fight, he's probably
I
number
would
4 or something.
I would agree. I would have I'd have Islam up there. Um, I'd have Pereira up there. Although again, you could argue that some people's skill sets would beat him, but at the same time, just what he's been doing is ridiculous. So I'd say probably Islam, then Pereira, just for what's been going on. Um, and then I would have uh, Taporia, and then
So you have
Jones
Islam
at
on
number
top.
five.
Yeah, Jones at number 5. Dana is going to be pissed.
Fuck
So,
him.
so you have Islam number 1. You have Pereira number 2. Then you have Topuria number 3, and then you
Uh,
have Jones.
no, what was that? No, it was Islam, and then
Islam and Pereira.
Pereira, yeah, and then the third one was it Taporia? Yeah, I think it
I
was
mean,
Taporia.
yeah, you can put. I think you can put Topuria number 3. To be honest, who else? Who else is there?
Oh, Tom Aspinall would probably be my fourth. I mean, it would make
Yeah,
sense with John Jones obviously being the champion, but I think Tom Aspinall's better. So
I think the same thing. So when you're looking at like pound for pound, are you just looking at the skill of the person, or are you looking at like the timing as well? So like if the person had performed better in the last 2 years, because I think this is the argument against Dana as well, because he's just looking at the skills
yeah,
of the person.
absolutely. Because obviously John Jones is, if you're gonna have top three fighters in the UFC, he's gonna be in there, regardless of whatever age he's at. I feel, but at the same time, I measure it on activity. If someone's just banging people out like past 2 years, but they might not be the best, but what they've done is ridiculous, then I'm going to put them higher up than someone who's got historically maybe a better career, but or better overall skill set, but at the same time isn't super active.
Yeah, I think that does make sense. I think this is the thing Dana does not understand. He doesn't
Because it's
get it.
participation, isn't it? At the end of the day, like you could be really good, but if you're not participating, why should you be scoring?
Why
In
should you
terms
be
of like
scoring? Yeah,
things, like if you're not active, then
yeah,
you shouldn't be in the conversation because you're not actually fighting. So how are you going to say, well, who's the best pound for pound fighter right now when you're not fighting right now?
yeah,
If you,
exactly. Otherwise, GSP, let's say GSP comes back, he beats someone next year or something like this, and then disappear for like 5 years, and then doesn't actually retire and say, "Okay, I am the greatest of all time.
yeah, if they
I'm the
left him
pound for
in
pound
there,
best." What are
like
you
it
gonna
doesn't
say
make
then?
any sense, does it? So I think you should have to be active every 8 months or whatever, something like that,
Yeah, yeah.
just
That's
to
why
keep it.
I think I would agree as well. I might put Pereira on the top because I think he's just been much more active than Islam and the guys that he's actually beating. I mean, we
Yeah, to
know
be fair,
Islam is beating
when
like
did
the high level
Islam
guys.
fight last?
Islam had 2 fights in the last year, so he fought Woke in Australia. I think that was
Was
the
that
end of
start of the
last
year?
year. Yeah, I
Okay.
think that was last year, and then he fought what did he fight last? Dustin Poirier. That was like a couple of months ago.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. To be fair, so he definitely
Yeah,
still has
so
to.
he's beaten pretty good fighters, but he didn't
Yeah.
dominate those fighters. Like if you look
He
at the
didn't look
fights
as good though against Dustin Poirier. I feel like he was
against
still
Dustin
really
Poirier,
good. Like, he just wiped the floor with Volk in the second one.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
he looked absolutely better in that.
yeah. But if you're just looking at the scale, like if you're just saying, okay, who is a better MMA fighter? Is it Islam or Alex
Oh,
Pereira? I would say Islam is a more complete fighter. He's got more skills in his
and
arsenal.
on that note, my takeaway is here.
Your takeaways here?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think we should finish it? Because we've talked.
probably we got a pretty decent amount of content there.
Yeah, yeah. All right, man. Have a good
And
one. Thanks for
yeah, I've
joining,
got
by
a
the way.
pizza to eat. Huh?
Oh, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining.
No
I
problem,
enjoyed
man.
it.
Thanks, Anthony.
Take care, bro. Have a good one.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.